I reacted to the Pacoda projections for 2021, and we all know not very good there. So I'm going to react to Fangraphs 2021 MLB season predictions in this video. But before I get into this video, 85% of you that watch these videos that are not subscribed, get your life together, hit that subscribe button, turn notifications, leave a like. Subscribe, turn notifications, and leave a like. And yeah, let's go ahead and get into this video. So yeah, as you see on the screen, AL postseason odds. We'll start in the AL. We'll start in the AL West, where the Rangers have a 0.8% chance of making the playoffs. Now, the Rangers are not a good team for 2021. That's no secret. They traded Lance Lynn this offseason, which indicated that is a more towards the rebuild move. And their prospects are getting closer to ready. And the Rangers are just not a good team for 2021. It's simple enough. So, yeah. 1.7% chance for the Seattle Mariners here. I disagree with this one. I definitely think their percentage should be higher because the Seattle Mariners made some decent moves this offseason. They signed James Paxton, which I think is a good move. Obviously, they're not win now team. Julio Rodriguez, Jared Kelenick's going to be coming up this year, and you can expect the Mariners to be a maybe sneaky good team that maybe could compete for that wild card in a not really that great AL West, if we're being honest. It's just not a great AL West. In third place is Oakland Athletics with a 21.8% chance here. I do not like this at all. I think the Oakland A's are a team that is a sleeper team for 2021 that could actually be really good. Because you brought in Trevor Rosenthal to replace Liam Hendriks. Obviously, Trevor Rosenthal's not as good as Liam Hendriks. But still, Trevor Rosenthal is a good relief pitcher. And I know the starting rotation is kind of iffy, but I think that Jesus Luzardo is going to be really, really good along with A.J. Puck. I think Jesus Luzardo is a sneaky, maybe even Cy Young pick. He's that good. So, for the Oakland Athletics here, you still have Matt Chapman, Matt Olson. So, yeah. Angels, 37.8% chance. Everybody, they're just really, I understand you want to see Mike Trout in the playoffs. But this team had a terrible offseason. They have done nothing. Maybe they do end up signing a Jake Odorizzi. But here's the thing. This was a bad offseason for this team. And then you're going to put them in second place higher than they finished last year when you could argue that the Mariners have got better this offseason and they still have top prospects that come up, that some of their prospects are favorites for Rookie of the Year, and you put the Angels at 37.8% chance. I would love to see the Angels make the playoffs. But their pitching is just not good. It's bad. It's really bad. And the Astros get a 71.4% chance. This is very understandable here. If Justin Verlander can come back from Tommy John surgery, then that would be big for this team. You hope that Zach Greinke's healthy. Framber Valdez is going to have surgery. So their pitching really concerns me, if I'm going to be honest, especially after Framber Valdez is getting surgery, because he was really good for this team in 2020 when they made a run. So Jose Altuve, I don't really know what you can expect out of him after a down 2020 season. You lost George Springer this offseason, and I mean, I just don't know what you can expect. I think you can expect Alex Bregman to have a good season, Carlos Correa to have a good season. I mean, but for the Astros, I'm concerned about their bullpen and their starting pitching. So the Tigers get a 2% chance of making the playoffs here. A.J. Hinch is their new manager this offseason. They made some other moves. They got Robbie Grossman. Some other moves this offseason. So, yeah, 2% chance. I mean, I don't think the Tigers are – I know that they're not going to make the playoffs most likely. But I think the Tigers could at least get a higher percent chance if you're giving the Royals a 10.1% chance. I think they should be more in that, 7 to 8% chance range. Because even though the Tigers are a bad team, I mean, I think Casey Mize is going to be super good, along with Tariq Skubal, Riley Green. I don't think you're going to see Spencer Torkelson come up this year, but maybe he does. Kansas City Royals get a 10.1% chance. Now, the Royals here, their farm system is really good. I mean, you're going to be looking at an infield for the future of Whit Merrifield, Bobby Witt Jr., Hunter Dozier. I mean, you're going to be looking at a really good infield along with an outfield where you added a potential all-star caliber player and Andrew Benintendi this offseason. And you didn't have to give up much but Franchi Cordero. So, yeah, I mean, I think that the Royals could be a bit of a sneaky team, but I just understand that they're not better than these three teams above them. Cleveland with a 17.4% chance. I don't necessarily agree with that. You've obviously got the 2020 AL Cy Young and Shane Bieber, along with an MVP candidate in 2020 in Jose Ramirez. Now, I understand that you lost Francisco Lindor this offseason, but I still think that your percentage should be higher because I think Andres Jimenez is going to be really solid for this team. I mean, I don't think he's going to be to the caliber of Francisco Lindor, but I still think that he's going to be pretty good for this team. And, I mean, Shane Bieber, I think you could still expect him to be at that Cy Young level. And I just think that your lineup's just not as good as the Twins or the White Sox here because they're just not. I mean, I just don't think that their lineup is – they have Jose Ramirez, but your outfield is pretty terrible. They did add Eddie Rosario, which I think is going to be a good pickup, as good as he hits in the home of Cleveland. So for Cleveland here, their bullpen – you know they're going to have good pitching. I mean, you've got James Karinchak in that bullpen, which he's sneaky, really good. So, yeah, you lose Carlos Carrasco, too. That's a big loss there. The White Sox get a 60.5% chance. And these are their, odds for the AL and NL postseason. But, honestly, you can kind of go off and pretty much say that, the Twins are going to be in first place is what they're predicting. White Sox in second, Cleveland in third. Royals in fourth, and Tigers in fifth. So for the White Sox here, 60.5% chance. I actually disagree with this because I think the White Sox are the favorite to win the AL Central this year because the White Sox are really good. In an offseason that you pick up Lance Lynn and Liam Hendricks, that's a really good offseason. Not to mention the fact that you still have Luis Robert, who was really good at the first half of the season, and obviously he got beat out for Rookie of the Year by Seattle Mariners outfielder Kyle Lewis. But the White Sox, you've got Yohan Moncada, who had a down 2020 season because he got COVID. And, I mean, you've got a really good team, not to mention the fact that you have the 2020 AL MVP in Jose Abreu, not to mention the fact that you have Andrew Vaughn in your farm system. Nick Madrigal, we still have yet to see what he has, and he's going to be a really good hitter for this team. So I think that the White Sox could use a little more rotation depth. I mean, I think that maybe they should. I think you're looking more towards the trade deadline here. I mean, I think if a team like the Reds or the Cubs are not in contention, then maybe you could call their phone about like a Luis Castillo or a Kyle Hendricks, but that's looking too far into the future because you've actually got to be good for the first half. And at first is the Minnesota Twins, 65.5% chance of making the playoffs. I think that the White Sox are better than the Twins right now. But for the Twins here, you picked up Alex Colomé this offseason, and you're starting to build a pretty decent bullpen with Alex Colomé, Taylor Rogers. And in that rotation, you're still looking for Jose Barrios to really break out. You saw a breakout season from Kenta Maeda. And Jose Barrios, if he could break out, he would be really, really good for this team. So, yeah, 65.5% chance for them. Don't totally agree with that. But overall, these projections aren't too bad. I mean, I think they're pretty good. I would give the Mariners a bit of a higher percent chance. I would give the Tigers a little bit of a higher percentage chance. I would put the A's over the Angels right now. But the Orioles get a 0.0% chance of making the playoffs. And I think that the Orioles are better than the Rangers, honestly, because the Orioles, they still have Trey Mancini, who's going to be really good. I would expect him to be. And, yeah, I mean, the Orioles, I don't expect them to make the playoffs. And I think that there's like a 99% chance that they don't make the playoffs. But still, is it a 0% chance? No. I mean, I think you've still got to give them a little bit of a percent. And the problem is here, you don't even put the Pirates. They've got a 0.4. That's just the problem that doesn't make sense here. But one that I don't like here is the Rays at 18.6% chance. Now, I understand that you lose Blake Snell, Charlie Morton this offseason. That's not a good offseason, even though I do like the package in return they got for Blake Snell and Luis Patino, Cole Wilcox, and Francisco Mejia. I think Francisco Mejia is going to be the steal of this trade, and I have high hopes for the Rays once again this year, even though they did lose Blake Snell and Charlie Morton. They always find a way. And here's the thing with the Rays. They still have Shane Baz, Brett Honeywell, and we haven't even seen the debut of Wander Franco in the major leagues because he's the number one rated prospect in all of baseball. So the Rays, even though they're very good right now, they still have some top prospects that could come up as early as this season. Another problem here is the Boston Red Sox at 47% chance. I do not agree with this one. The Boston Red Sox, yes, they picked up Adam Ottavino, which I think is a good pickup for this team. You've got Matt Barnes there too, but I just, that bullpen's just not it. And their starting pitching, it's just I mean, Eduardo Rodriguez, I don't really know what you can expect from him. Chris Sale, I don't think he's going to be pitching this year. And along with Garrett Richards, and who was absolute garbage in his first spring training start this season. So I don't really know what you can expect from Garrett Richards either because he has been injury prone in the past, to say the least. The Blue Jays get a 53.6% chance here. And for the Blue Jays here, I definitely am concerned with their pitching. Their bullpen, it's not too good, honestly. Like, you've got Kirby Yates, you've got Rafael Dolis, but this bullpen I still think needs another arm or two. And their starting pitching, I just don't think is nearly there yet. I think you're going to have to be hoping on a Nate Pearson near Cy Young season, honestly. And not to mention the fact Hyun-Jin Ryu is really good. But Robbie Ray could be a good number 3, honestly. But here's the thing. There's just a lot of question marks here for this Blue Jays team. I don't know that I would necessarily put them ahead of the Rays or the Red Sox here, but yeah, you'll have to watch my predictions because this is probably going to be the last reaction to predictions video before my actual predictions come out. So the Yankees get a 91.6% chance of making the playoffs. The Yankees had some key offseason moves. They brought in Jameson Taillon via trade, Corey Kluber, and they also brought in or re-signed DJ LeMahieu, which was a good move. They also brought in some relief pitchers like Darren O'Day and some other relief pitchers. So the Yankees are definitely a good team, but I still do have a little bit of concerns with that starting rotation, especially with Jameson Taillon and Corey Kluber's past injury. And I'm questionable about that, but I still think that I think if you can get one of those to be at least solid pitcher, then I think you're in a pretty good spot here. So now we're moving on to the NL. 0.7% chance for the Marlins here. I don't think you should sleep on the Marlins here because I think the Marlins might finish with an above 500 record and still be in 5th place in the NL East because the Marlins are actually sneaky good. You've got J.J. Bleday. You signed Adam Duvall. You've got Jesus Aguilar. You've got Sixto Sanchez, who I think is a sneaky candidate for Cy Young this year. This team is sneaky good, not to mention the fact that they made the playoffs in 2020. Yes, would they have made the playoffs in the regular bracket? I don't think they would have. So the Phillies get a 13.4% chance. That's exactly where I would put them in 4th place because the Phillies, I don't think they're a terrible team. And I think, honestly, if we put them in the NL Central, they would probably win the NL Central. I think if we put them in the AL West, they would probably win the AL West. But here's the thing with the Phillies. Your pitching is, yes, they made some moves this offseason to address that bullpen, getting Archie Bradley, getting some other players, and re-signing JT Realmuto, obviously. But here's the thing. It's just, I just don't think it's good enough to compete with these other teams in their division. 3rd place, Washington Nationals, 24.6% chance. That is unbelievably low for the Washington Nationals. That just when we had a 162-game season 2 years ago, the Nationals won the World Series. Yes, they have lost Anthony Rendon since then. But the Nationals are still very good, and they have a top 5 player in baseball, in my opinion, and Juan Soto is still on their team, along with Max Scherzer, Steven Strasburg, who are top 10 pitchers in baseball. And your bullpen, you made a solid addition in Brad Hand. And you've got Daniel Hudson, who was really good in that 2019 playoffs, along with Will Harris, who has been good previously. So this Nationals team, that is very underwhelming for this Nationals team. I would give them maybe just below 50% chance because, obviously, if you finish in 3rd place, then you're probably not going to make the playoffs. The Atlanta Braves, though, here with a 67.8% chance is absolutely crazy. And I'm not just saying that because I'm a Braves fan. That's seriously underwhelming because I think that they're better than the Mets right now. I do. And they're a 67.8% chance. I don't know. I mean, why? Because the Braves starting rotation, their biggest problem in 2020 was addressed this offseason. They got Charlie Morton, along with Mike Soroka coming back, where you're looking at a rotation of Mike Soroka, Max Fried, Ian Anderson. Ian Anderson is another Cy Young candidate this season because he was really, really good last year, along with Charlie Morton, the new addition. So Charlie Morton, I mean, I don't really know what you can expect from him just because he is getting up there in age. So yeah. So Mets get first place here, 81.2% chance. I just don't think so. I like the Mets offseason. You get Francisco Lindor, Carlos Carrasco. I think that rotation is fantastic, especially when you get Noah Syndergaard back and you're looking at a rotation of Noah Syndergaard, Carlos Carrasco, Jacob deGrom. You're looking at a really, really good rotation there. Your starting lineup, I think, is good. I mean, I'm a little concerned about Brandon Nimmo being in center field there because Brandon Nimmo is just and you've got James McCann there, which is a good move. Obviously, he's way better than what they had there in Wilson Ramos because Wilson Ramos is just not getting it done. Simple enough. So let's move on to the NL Central. 0.4% chance for the Pirates. I think that they should be 0.1% chance. This team is really bad. O'Neal Cruz is an exciting player that might come up this season, along with Ke'Bryan Hayes, who I think both are going to be good once they are in the major leagues. But here's the thing. The Pirates are not going to make the playoffs this year, and if they make the playoffs, well, they shocked me. 18.7% chance for the Reds. Even though the Reds did lose Trevor Bauer this offseason, they're still a very good team. I mean, they've still got Luis Castillo, Sonny Gray, and the hitting is still pretty decent. Nick Castellanos is still a very good player, along with Mike Moustakas, who can hit a bunch of home runs. And not to mention the fact that Eugenio Suarez had a down 2020 season. Eugenio Suarez is really good when he actually, like, he hit almost 50 home runs in 2019. So for the Reds here, their bullpen is absolute garbage. I mean, when your best reliever is Sean Doolittle, I mean, that would kind of make me a little sick if I was a Reds fan. But, they need to address their bullpen if they really, really want to be competing. 21.8% chance for the Cubs here. I disagree. I think the Reds are better than the Cubs right now because this Cubs pitching is absolute trash. I mean, they should have just let me come pitch for them because their pitching's that bad. And like Kyle Hendricks, and after that, it's like Zach Davies. You trade Yu Darvish for players that will not help you right now. When you did not trade Chris Bryant this offseason, nor Javier Baez, nor Anthony Rizzo, I know in these videos, I don't like the Cubs. And that's just because their pitching is so bad. 35.4% chance for the Milwaukee Brewers here. The Brewers get a low percent chance. I have high hopes for the Brewers in 2021. I really do. Because now that their pitching is good with Brandon Woodruff, Corbin Burns, Josh Hader, and Devin Williams, then this team is going to be a ton better. And it's the hitting that you're worried about. They just signed Jackie Bradley Jr. this morning. And you've got Christian Yelich, who was a former MVP. Keston Hiura. This team is actually sneaky good, and I think they will make a fight for the Cardinals in first place. Cardinals, though, you added Nolan Arenado this offseason. That's a great offseason. 36.2% chance here. The NL Central is obviously very weak, but here for the Cardinals, I mean, you've got Nolan Arenado, Paul Goldschmidt. I am a little concerned about their bullpen, but I think there's a way that their bullpen could go a lot better, especially considering that Jordan Hicks is going to be coming back. And you don't know what to expect out of Alex Reyes. And you've still got some good trade pieces, like a Nolan Gorman, if you really wanted to go all in and possibly trade, which would be a crazy trade, maybe even in division, for Josh Hader, which I don't think the Brewers would do that, but I could be wrong. So I think they need to make some moves for some relievers, but overall this Cardinals team is a very good team. So, yeah, my face cam is in the way, so you cannot see 5th, 4th, or 3rd place in the NL West. I'm sorry about that. But 0.1% chance for the Colorado Rockies here. I think this is pretty self-explanatory here. The Rockies are a bad team. You lose Nolan Arenado, and you couldn't even make the playoffs with Nolan Arenado, honestly. So this Rockies team is not good at all. I mean, there's not a high percent chance of them making the playoffs. You still have Trevor Story, Herman Marquez, Kyle Freeland. I think those players are gone at the trade deadline. I think they will be gone. And 2.1% chance here for the Diamondbacks. That is very underwhelming for a team that I'm pretty sure made the playoffs in 2019. I could be wrong, though, there. Or they almost made the playoffs, one of those. Because this Arizona Diamondbacks team, they had a near MVP in 2019 in Ketel Marte. And Ketel Marte obviously was not very good in 2020. But who was that was a superstar? Not many. Besides, obviously, like Mike Trout and Mookie Betts and those top players. But a lot of players had a down 2020 season. For this Diamondbacks team, your relief pitching is not good, especially when you trade Archie Bradley, which Archie Bradley is not going to make a huge impact to many teams. But when Archie Bradley was going to be pretty decent for this Diamondbacks team, I understand the concern here. But the Diamondbacks at 2.1% chance feels a little underwhelming to me. I understand that they're going to get whooped by the Dodgers and Padres, who are obviously at the top of the division. But yeah, 7.9% chance for the San Francisco Giants here. The Giants here, I think they could still add a Jake Odorizzi possibly. You've got Mike Yastrzemski in that lineup who is so underrated and so good. You added Tommy La Stella this offseason and some other moves. Your bullpen still is very underwhelming, and your starting pitching is not too good either. So for the Giants, I think third place is a good spot here for the San Francisco Giants. Coming in at second place here is the San Diego Padres with a 92.9% chance. I think it's nearly a guarantee that the Padres make the playoffs, and I hate to say that and put so much pressure on a team, but I think that it is a near guarantee that the San Diego Padres make the playoffs here because the Padres are so good. They are stacked. You've got Joe Musgrove, Blake Snell, Yu Darvish, Hassan Ken, and I'm probably forgetting somebody like Mark Melancon, Keon Keller. So many good additions this offseason for the San Diego Padres. Not to mention the fact that you've got a top 10 player in baseball after just one good season. I already think he's a top 10 player in baseball. Fernando Tatis Jr. is that good. Manny Machado is another arguable top 10 player in baseball because Manny Machado nearly won MVP in 2020. But this Padres team is stacked. And in first place is the LA Dodgers, 96.7% chance. Obviously, the Dodgers, we saw that they are really trying to go back-to-back winning a World Series after signing Trevor Bauer and re-signing Justin Turner. They just said screw the luxury tax and went on. So, yeah, this Dodgers team, 96.7% chance. I don't even think I would be mad if they literally put a 99% chance for the Dodgers and like a 94 to 95 for the Padres because I don't really think there's I'm sure there is a world, but I don't think there's too much of a world where either of these two teams do end up missing the playoffs. So yeah, that's my reaction to Fangraphs 2021 postseason odds, which pretty much means their season predictions. So yeah, you see them on the screen. Yeah, make sure you leave a like on this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications because, like I said, 85% of you that watch these videos are not subscribed. Get your life together. Hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and leave a like. Thank you for watching, and peace.